and burn.
Hey everybody, so yeah, I'd been meaning to put this out for a couple days, but I kind of got sick, so I didn't. The Offspring have released a new song on Friday. It's now Wednesday, June 12th, I think. So that would have been June 8th or June 7th, or whenever it came out. I don't care, it's awful. It's called Make It All Right, and it's ironically titled because they're not gonna make it all right. It opens up with this chick's voice saying like, all I want to do is make it with you or something, and I totally get She's Pretty Fly for a White Guy vibes from that opening, which maybe that was their intention. Maybe they're trying to sort of recapture their glory days, even though I hated Pretty Fly for a White Guy and Why Don't You Get a Job and The Kids Aren't All Right, and pretty much all the radio singles off of Americana were awful. But Americana, of course, was responsible for giving us Staring at the Sun and Have You Ever and Walla Walla, and which is quite possibly my favorite Offspring song, The End of the Line. So I love Americana. Of course, the title track was wicked too. Americana was badass. But it seems like the Offspring's last record that sounded right was Rise and Fall, Rage and Grace, with like Hammerhead and Trust in You and a bunch of other songs that kicked ass that I can't remember. And then it seems like once days go by, and then, God, 25 years later, they decided to release Let the Bad Times Roll, and that record was awful. Days Go By, or Days Gone By, or whatever the hell it was called, it's like it wanted to be the Offspring. Like, it's like the corpse that was the Offspring at that point was still under the impression that it was alive. So that record had its moments. Not really, but it had way more moments than Let the Bad Times Roll. And then this thing, I don't even know what the hell this is. My sister pointed out how like the oohs and ahs on this sort of have like a Beach Boys vibe, and she's not wrong. And I think the biggest irony here is the fact that they just given an interview, I can't remember where. If I find it, I'll put a link up, or I'll pull the video up. I'll pull the article up in the video here, where they're talking about the reason why they chose to call the album Supercharged, because this record was supposed to take them back to like when they were young, and every song is supposed to be speedy and punk as fuck and fast as fuck or whatever. And that's why they called the record Supercharged. And then Make It All Right is the first single. Make It All Right is like mid-paced sludge. It's not supercharged in any way. It sounds like everything else the Old Men and the Offspring have been doing for the past like 15 years. And it's really disappointing, because when I read the article that said that, okay, we're taking it back, this record's going to be like Fast and Furious, it was like, okay, cool, you know, because I've wanted the Offspring to get back to that for a really long time, but it just doesn't look like that's going to happen. Essentially, I think the Offspring have entered into Bad Religion territory, where they're just not capable of writing the same level of music that they once were. And this song is, my God, is this song an incredibly on-point example of that, because this song's like nothing. And I think that's where I'm going to leave it, because I don't really want to sit around and bash things on this channel, especially not from like a legacy band that I've loved since I was a kid, like The Offspring. But this song is awful. And yeah, so thank you for hanging out with me for 3.5 minutes while I discussed how The Offspring's new song, Make It All Right, is in fact awful. Don't forget that you guys are absolutely amazing. And please don't forget that the world is so much more fun because you are in it. I'm getting out of here. This sucks.